back to Power Panel 365. This is your host, Star Coates, and tonight I'm going to be reading a story from the children's Bible storybooks. And the name of this story is called The Birth of Moses. I hope you're in your beds, you're comfortable, you have brushed your teeth and washed your face. And even if you're not ready, I hope you get ready real soon. Once again, the name of this story is called The Birth of Moses. Pharaoh invited Jacob's 12 sons to come and live in Egypt. They worked hard as the years went by, and their families grew large enough to be known as tribes and settled all over Egypt. They were known as Israelites from the name God had given Jacob long before. But they were not happy people. They still lived in Goshen. The fertile district had been given to them by the friendly Pharaoh, who had invited their forefathers to come to Egypt. But now the Egyptians made them work hard, clearing the land and digging channels through the fields so that the crops could get water from the Nile. They were made to bake bricks, too, for a great new city was being built. A new Pharaoh had come to the throne who remembered nothing about Joseph. The Israelites outnumbered us, he told the Egyptians, and they were more powerful than we are. We must protect ourselves against them. For if a war breaks out, they will soon join our enemies and take over our country. So Pharaoh made slaves of the Israelites and tried to break their spirit with hard work. But it seemed that the worse they were treated, the more children they had. Their tribes grew larger and larger. And the Egyptians feared and hated them even more. Then Pharaoh sent for the Hebrew midwives and said, "When you are helping the Hebrew women give birth, watch if the child is a boy or a girl. If it is a girl, let her live. If it is a boy, kill him instantly." The midwives knew Pharaoh was asking them to do wrong, so they let the boys live. Then Pharaoh ordered his own people to drown every newborn Hebrew boy in the Nile. One woman thought a descendant of Jacob's son Levi gave birth to a fine boy and managed to hide him from the Egyptians. When the baby was 3 months old, the Levite women could not hide him any longer. She brought a basket woven of rushes and made it watertight with clay and tar. Then she laid the baby in it and hid the basket in the reeds of the riverbank. She went home in tears, but her daughter waited nearby to see what would happen. Presently, Pharaoh's daughter came down to bathe in the Nile. She noticed the basket. She noticed the basket in the reeds and sent servants to fetch it. When she opened it, the baby was crying, and at once she felt sorry for her. "Why?" she said. "It is a Hebrew baby. Someone has left to die." At that moment, the boy's sister ran up. "Shall I fetch a Hebrew woman who can nurse the baby for you?" she asked. Pharaoh's daughter wanted to keep the child, so she sent the girl to find a nurse. The girl ran and fetched the baby's own mother. "Here's a child I have found," the princess said to her. "I want you to nurse him and take care of him for me." The woman did not tell the princess who she was. She was so happy at having her baby's life. So she took her child and looked after him until he was old enough to serve Pharaoh's daughter. When the Egyptian princess saw the boy, she was so pleased with him that she adopted him as her own son. She called him Moses. because the name meant that he was someone who had been drawn out of the water. I hope you like that story. Thank you for tuning in to Power Panel 365. Have a good night, and may the Lord bless you.